one of the themes that's definitely there in the book is work. And then I had this idea of things going in circles. And there's a Werner Herzog film called Strauss-Check that I really liked. And in it, everything goes in circles. In a lot of Herzog's films, things go in circles. And it's sort of this futility. And so there's a chicken, for instance, that just keeps dancing in circles. And so I started thinking about that for the book, just these cycles and these circles and this sort of futility. I started to think about writing poems as if they were translations of his films, or just kind of stealing his best images and then seeing what I could do with them. I do feel like a thief, you know, and so I call them in the book, I call them bastard poems, because, you know, I feel like they're kind of illegitimate children between the films and then poetry itself. One of the poems that is very, has a Toronto reference in it is Priestley Demolition. They always put their boards up, like the signboards, when they're tearing something down or putting something up. And the one time they were doing some construction next to a church. And so I really liked this idea of Priestley Demolition, and there was a church. So that kind of inspired one of the funnier poems in the book, where I was imagining priests running around with cranes and, you know, the big mace balls and whatnot. The majority of the poems have a Toronto feel, like there are, you know, a lot of rep cinema references and things like that, and references to Bloor Street and the CN Tower. Because in poems, you usually write about a specific place, and it's, unless you mention the place name, it could be anywhere. It could be, you know, a church here or there, or an ice cream shop here or anywhere. There's a lot of factory in the book, and so for me, that's definitely southwestern Ontario. There's a very long poem in the book called In the Factory, and it's about a factory where people actually produce pain as opposed to a material object. But it was definitely inspired by, you know, watching friends work in the factory and growing up and, you know, trying to get factory jobs and then trying to avoid factory jobs and then trying to leave factory towns. So.